Some of the pandemic's effects on our environment have been positive. Just look at the clearing skies over major cities. I'm joined now by Michael K. Dorsey. He's the co-founder and a managing partner at IberSun Solar. That's a company specializing in renewable energy generation. And Michael, we're seeing so many images that illustrate how the pandemic is impacting the environment. And if you just look at China, for example, analysis by one climate group shows that in February, emissions in the country plummeted by 25%. So extend that out worldwide. What kind of effects can we expect to see as a result of the pandemic?
Well, let's be very, very clear. The pandemic is not positively impacting the environment. It is an absolute catastrophe for the planet, for social systems, for ecosystems. It's catastrophic. So let's not make any sort of illusions that it's a positive impact on the environment. What's the positive impact that we've seen is really a lesson for us that we have such a catastrophic reduction in economic activity worldwide. We've seen huge drops in pollution and air pollution, particularly in particulate matter. Places like Delhi, of course, record drop, 60% drop in PM2.5, which is the largest, most polluting type of particulate matter. Other cities like Seoul, like New York, even Wuhan, like Los Angeles, seeing 20, 30, 40, 50% drops in air pollution. So that's a lesson that we can take from this. And that lesson is really about how we can, when we transition to cleaner kinds of energy generation, we're going to see those sorts of reductions. And we know that because we've seen actually a maintaining of energy production. We haven't seen a total collapse in all energy production. Renewables have been continuing apace, and they're set to increase, and they're coming online. Lots of utilities are turning to renewables because they're actually cheaper than some of the fossil fuel technologies. So there is this lesson that we can take from this, and seeing that we can, when we see this dramatic drop in pollution, that's a sign of new technology that we've got to bring on board. That means more renewable technology.
Yeah, the reduction in air pollution, obviously, the one silver lining in all of this, and I'm not trying to make it, as you said, an optimistic story, obviously, but to your point, food retailers, once again, reusing plastic bags, sending these out of the grocery stores now because they don't want people reusing bags from home because of concerns about the coronavirus. Consumers also using more takeaway food. These are in single-use packages. Organic waste levels also increasing. So there is this other downside to it, like you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, there are positive sides and downsides to these catastrophic changes. I think the thing that we can take away from this is to think about what are the systemic changes that we need to put in place as we emerge from this global pandemic emergency, as it were. Those really point to things like bringing on more clean, more affordable energy technology, particularly solar and wind. We've got to ramp that up because we want to maintain that clean air, because we know that bad air, noxious air, polluted air is going to exacerbate those that are suffering from the lingering effects of the coronavirus.
Michael, just this week we saw oil prices plunging. There's talk that some of these major oil companies could go bankrupt. Again, this, I think, further illustrates the point you're trying to make, that perhaps it's time to turn the page. Is that a message that's going to come across, though?
Well, for the oil industry, who knows? It's not anything new that they've for the past 20, 30, going on, 40 years, almost more than a generation. They've had one foot on the banana peel and one foot in the graveyard, as it were, with respect to their prices. The fact is that renewable energy, wind and solar, has been consistently cheaper, particularly over the past 5, 6 years, and it's still falling. Its prices are falling. So it is the more competitive source for generating energy, solar and wind, and it's been the case for many years now, and it's going to continue to be the case as the oil industry is going to face some of the extreme shocks from this global catastrophe.
Michael Dorsey joining us from Detroit. Thanks so much for your analysis.